Welcome back to our Pigskin Pick'em for the week. Right now we see our total through 3 weeks. I have 35 games right. Mark's got 26. One game wrong last week. Niles West. Oh, let me get them. But anyway, let's go right into our picks this week. We got Niles North at Maine East. What do you think, Mark?
Scott, I mean, yeah, I'm all for getting Corey in the end. I tried to do it. Just
Stop.
Welcome back to the second half of our Prep Pigskin Pick'ems. Scott, we jumped right into Danny the game. Records aside, in this one always, the Ridge Road rivalry is every single season one of the biggest games that in our coverage area. This year, I don't think it's gonna be any different.
If you want to know real game of the week, I mean, crosstown rivalries aside, this game's obviously it. Two huge games. Both teams played each other last year twice. Right, both games were instant classics. Playoff game, last second loss for Minooka or from Plainfield South gave Minooka revenge. A little bit different this year. A lot of new look team. Both teams are new look teams. A lot of new players on both sides of the ball. Plainfield South's the only team above 500 in the SPC. Both teams are 2-0 in the conference. This is for a good chance in the conference championship right here. Man, I don't know. You're throwing me a curveball here, picking a winner. I think Calvin Hill is on fire right now. I know you're going to pick Minooka, so I'm going to make you not be able to move any differently. So I'll pick a Minooka, so you can't catch up with me in this game. I'll pick a Minooka.
So I said, all season, Scott, this number right here, this 2 losses, 2 toughest teams, anybody is a soft schedule with. They're still far and away the best team in this conference.
Far and away.
I saw
it was a 3-way tie last year. Far and away.
This year is a different story. I saw Plainfield South play against Joliet West. Not that impressive.
They look good against Romeoville, though.
It's Romeoville. They're not playing as well this year, much to my chagrin. But I think in this one here, I think Calvin Hill, Minooka, Joey Carnaggio might have a big game in this one. I think the Indians big win.
What's going to be the key to that game? You think? You're going to be at that game Friday night.
I think it's to be controlling the ground game. Austin Howarth, Eddie P, the receivers, they can get things going when they have the ball. I think if Calvin Hill can sustain 6-7 minute drives, Plainfield South defense, your offense can't get on the field, they can't score any points.
In my mind, you think of last year, the difference of that game, Dondre Adams getting hurt in the playoff game.
Right.
They don't have half that firepower this year. That's where I think Minooka's going to win. Minooka, I don't think is as strong as last year either, but I still think they're probably a little bit stronger.
Keep the ball out of Howard's hands. They can't score.
Yeah.
Pretty easy there.
Well, moving on, another pretty big game is Bolingbrook at Homer Flossmoor. Is Bolingbrook gonna get beat this week?
No, not even close. This is the first actual challenge since Belleville. HF's coming off a loss to Lincoln Way East. They're gonna be a little bit hungry, but Bolingbrook, they're gonna win this one here. Might be a little bit closer. They're gonna set up that.
Bolingbrook might look ahead a little bit too to Lincoln Way East next week.
Not this team. I mean, Aaron Bailey, captain of this team. Got these guys, their heads are on right. Antonio Morrison, these guys, know what they want. They want conference, then they want state. And conference is going to be the following week against Lincoln Way East. They know they got to get their HF first, and they will.
I'm very tempted to pick HF and an upset in this one. I really am. I'm still not quite sold on Bolingbrook, even though they're blowing teams out of the water. I still think that there's a chink in their armor. Will HF be able to be a team that realizes it? I don't know. I think looking ahead to the next week, it's hard for a high school team to sit there and say they take them 1 week at a time. But we see Lincoln Way East on schedule next week, and that's the biggest game of the year. It's hard not to look past that. But HF, I think, historically has been good enough the last few years for them to keep an eye on it. I think Brook closer than the experts, which means you think.
Next one here, staying in the SWSC here, we got Lockport, who's a surprise 3-1, I think, at this point of the year. New coach, I don't think anybody really expect them to be this good, this fast. And
look at their wins.
Maybe they aren't this good yet, but they're put up the wins to get them in the playoffs, and they're playing a 1-3 Lincoln Way Central team who just isn't getting it done. Lockport in this one, I don't see them getting beat. Lincoln Way Central, ask John Jackson, ask Plainfield Central how long it took to get back to anything after the splits. Lincoln Way Central still going through that with all the splits out there in the district. They're still hurting. The Porters are winning this one here.
Lockport wins this, and they're one step closer to the playoffs, be 4-1. Joliet West, still ahead on their docket.
Right.
So this is a big game for them. Not to look too forward to this game, but I think Lockport is going to take this one rather easily.
Scott, Westmont, we've been covering them for 2 weeks. they started off 0-2 when we started covering them. I picked against them 2 weeks in a row, and both times they won. So, the same way that Plainfield South, I picked against them. Those guys could hopefully rally around me picking against them. I don't know I doubt it's true, but hey, Westmont, guys, sorry if I was getting you fired up by picking against you. Not going to be able to help you this week. Traveling down to 0-4 Reed Custer. I'm picking Westmont this week. In a close game. Be a lot closer than that 0-4 score, I think, but I think Westmont wins.
You know what? The last 2 weeks I picked Westmont to win, and both weeks they barely won. This is a different breed coming down here. This is a different thing. Westmont's up north. It's 3 countries down south. It's a drive. I'm going Reed Custer in this one. I think they're going to get off the schneid this week and win the game. And this is a big game for Westmont. They want to make the playoffs because they still have Wilmington coming up.
Right.
So they need to win this game. But I think Reed Custer's going to. I think they're going to get them. They've been living on the edge the last 2 weeks to get sneaking away with wins.
So as I said earlier, my second game on Saturday is JCA. The first game I'm heading to is
one of our games of the week.
Yeah, one of our games of the week. Competitive game of the week, I guess, although not a real, high with 2 0-4 teams. Joliet West, Joliet Central. What do you think there?
Well, I think Joliet West handled pretty good last year. I don't see too much of that changing this year. I think Joliet Central's has gotten better from last year. But I think Joliet West has gotten a little better from last year. Joliet Central can stick around in the game. They have the athletes to do it. Joliet West makes a lot of mistakes, which could keep Central in the game. But I think Joliet West is too strong at the end of the day, and I think West is going to win.
Scott, I think a lot of that's coming into this game here is mental. Joliet Central, and Coach, Mike Maloney and guys didn't want to be 0-4. I think they kind of were expected to be there. Joliet West does not expect to be 0-4 at this point in the season. They've been in some close games. They make a lot of mistakes on their own. Not only that, I think Dirk is completely gone. I mean, Coach Aubrey benched Cameron Hargrove last week for who knows what reason. Just told me that he's young and he's a young running back and needs to learn some things. Probably one of the best athletes on the bench. I think this team is completely just disheveled, and I don't know if mentally if they can regroup in this close of a game. I'm gonna take the big upset here, Scott. I'm picking Joliet Central to get their first win as a split program, as a Steelman. I think that they're gonna host in the new stadium. I think they're gonna knock off their counterparts and beat Joliet West.
If they play the way they did against Romeo in the first half, that could happen. But they have to play like that for the whole game.
Right.
For them to do that, and that's gonna take a lot of stuff with a team that doesn't have much depth. But it could happen.
Right. And our second crosstown rival game of the week, Downers North 1-3, traveling up to which should be just the Josh Williams show up here. Last week in their 280 yards and 6 touchdowns, the kid's just unstoppable. Does Downers North have anything in their arsenal to stop this guy?
I don't know if they can stop him, but if you remember last year, it was a 1-score game. Yes, now it's a Downers South instead of Downers North, but does it really make that much of a difference? I don't know. Downers North is a much better team than last year, I think. I think Downers South is a better team than last year as well, though. North, can they hold on to the ball?
Right.
They could beat Lions last week in too many turnovers. Downers South beat Lions pretty good. I mean, you have to go with Downers South in this one, but I do think North, this is a rivalry game. I think where the Plainfield teams play each other, you sit there and say it's crosstown rivalry, but the records normally indicate what's going to happen. You saw Plainfield beat Plainfield North. That's more of the local rivalry that you would see an upset like that happening because it's a little bit bigger than Plainfield East playing Plainfield South.
Right.
However, this team, this is the rivalry. Both teams gear up for this every year. Throw the records off the board for the most part. It's Downers South is just that much better than Downers North, which is where they're going to win the game.
I'm not even sure Downers South is that much better than Downers North. I think you're right. I think talent-wise, man to man, they're probably pretty equal. I think record-wise, Downers South is in a weaker half of the conference than Downers North is. But like I said, it comes down to one man. Put the cape on him, let him go. Josh Williams is just superior above anybody, right now in our area. I mean, there's nobody, who could touch him. So I think when it comes down, man on man, rivalry as it is, Josh Williams is just such a premier player. I don't see anybody beating him. Even his hometown.
You guys want to go see? I'm gonna get my first glimpse of him shooting that game for a little bit. So I would encourage anybody that's a football fan that's sitting there looking your team's playing away or something, playing a little bit farther away. Take a trip up to Downers South and watch this game. You really want to see Josh Williams, but make sure you show up for the first half because he hasn't been in the game the second half all year pretty much.
They've been blowing him out so bad they put him on a bench and let him rest.
Yep. Well, that's all we have for this week. We'll see if Mark can cut into my lead at all. There's only a couple opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can and check and see how right we were or wrong we were this week, and we'll see you again next week.